American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
Now, over a decade ago, when President Obama announced the killing of Osama bin Laden after a dramatic and effective Navy SEAL mission. Here we are, over a decade later, and it is the vice president for that president who is now president, Joe Biden, who will tonight announce the killing of bin Laden's formal successor. We expect to hear it in about 30 minutes from the...
Al Zawahiri has been on the run for years, and his history of violence extends well beyond his role in planning 9/11.
In my direction, the United States successfully concluded an airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed the emir of Al-Qaeda. You know, Zawahiri was bin Laden's leader. He was with him the whole time. He was his number 2 man, his deputy at the time the terrorists attacked 9/11. He was deeply involved in the planning of 9/11. One of the most responsible for the attacks that murdered 2,977 people on American soil. For decades, he was the mastermind behind attacks against Americans, including the bombing of the USS Cole in 2000, which killed 17 American sailors and wounded dozens more. He played a key role in the bombing of U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing 224 and wounding over 4,500 others. He carved a trail of murder and violence against American citizens, American service members, American diplomats. He made videos, including in recent weeks, calling for his followers to attack the United States and our allies. And this terrorist leader is no more. Last year on September 11th, I once more paid my respect to Ground Zero in New York City. We will never forget. Hear me now. We will always remain vigilant. Please do what is necessary to ensure the safety and security of Americans at home and around the globe.
For years under Presidents Bush, Obama, and Trump, our intelligence community located Zawahiri earlier this year. He had moved to downtown Kabul to reunite with members of his immediate family. After carefully considering the clear and convincing evidence of his location, I authorized a precision strike that would remove him from the battlefield once and for all. This mission was carefully planned, rigorously minimized the risk of harm to other civilians. And 1 week ago, after being advised that the conditions were optimal, I gave the final approval to go get him. And the mission was a success. None of his family members were hurt, and there were no civilian casualties.
Let me add to our coverage. NBC News White House Chief Correspondent Kristen Welker. Kristen, you broke this story. The president will address the nation at 7:30 to announce the killing of the most significant Al-Qaeda leader since the successful raid that killed bin Laden. Talk about how this came to be, the president's role in this, and its significance. We were talking about this as a promise this president made a year ago when U.S. forces withdrew from Afghanistan. There was a commitment that counterterrorism operations would continue, that U.S. national security would be protected by precisely the kind of strike that appears to have taken out someone who has been sought since the attacks of 9/11. He helped orchestrate the attacks with bin Laden. I can't find the name of I don't know if he was bin Laden's assistant or right-hand man or what the intelligence community refers to him as, but Zawahiri has been pursued since those attacks.
You're absolutely right, Nicole, and you set it up so well. And we've been able to confirm this based on reporting from 2 sources familiar with the matter, myself and my colleague Ken Delanian. And what is significant about this is that he was really considered to be the ideological leader of Al-Qaeda during the era of Osama bin Laden. And in some cases, he was considered to be more instrumental in the planning of the September 11th attacks than almost any other member of Al-Qaeda at the time. And so this is someone who has been on the radar of the U.S. national intelligence for decades. And the fact that now the president is going to come out and denounce this, and as you say, Nicole, the backdrop to this, the fact that President Biden, in the wake of that really botched withdrawal from Afghanistan that was so widely criticized, continued to stay on this piece of it, the counterterrorism piece of it, that was a promise that he made at the time. He will, I would anticipate, speak to that, speak to the importance of that, and speak to the fact that this now becomes yet a new chapter in the wake of the war in Afghanistan, and that they have continued to track these people who were responsible for the planning of September 11th, and then responsible for carrying out the vision of Osama bin Laden in the wake of his death, Nicole. And I think that's a significant piece of it as well. There was so much debate at the time about what, if any, role Al Zawahiri would play and how instrumental he would be as a leader. Would he be as forceful of a leader as Osama bin Laden was? And so all of that, of course, will be left to historians. But the fact that the president is going to come out and announce this is undoubtedly going to be a significant moment in his presidency. It does come against the backdrop, as Monica just laid out so well, of this president who was recovering from COVID, and then he had that rebound case. We did learn that he had a few lingering symptoms today. But again, clearly, this is something that he has been working on behind the scenes as he has also continued his recovery, as he has continued to work on things that are unfolding on the domestic stage, also dealing with this significant development on the world stage, Nicole.